Most people have this mindset that work is hard and free time is easy. Essentially, work is the less fun, less relaxed, more intense, and kind of unpleasant part of life. It's what you have to do, but you don't really want to do it. And then free time is kind of the fun, enjoyable, relaxing uh, part of life. Essentially you do everything you have to do in a day or in a week, and then you get to relax, unwind, chill out, but also have fun. This is why most people struggle to work out consistently, because this mindset essentially dictates that work is the hard part, and that by definition, free time should be fun, should be easy. So if you're trying to do something in your free time that's hard, a lot of people are going to struggle with this, since in their mind, they have already done the hard part. They've already done the work, what they are supposed to do, right? So why should they do something hard in their free time? And so even if they want to get into, say, working out regularly, going to the gym or something of the like, it's going to be tough, because going to the gym is a lot harder than sitting on your sofa and watching TV or playing video games. I had this mindset early on when I got into working out more than I had been into it previously. Obviously, if you guys have been following my videos for a bit, especially been watching these videos on working out, you know that I've almost always been working out. Or I don't know if that sentence made sense. But yeah, I have almost always been someone who works out since I was a kid, essentially. But I didn't always work out as much as I do now. And a couple of years ago, I got into working out more intensely. I got more serious about the whole thing, and I made more intense workout plans, stuff like that, and have gotten to a point where now I work out a lot. And when I got into working out more, I also had this mindset of work is essentially what you have to do. It's the hard part. And then free time is like the fun part where you get to do what you want to do. Now, I enjoy working out, but to a certain degree. There's obviously a point at which working out loses sort of its fun allure and it becomes hard work. And so what I did when I still had this mindset was I made working out a part of what I considered work. I would essentially have a schedule for the day, or rather a schedule for the week, with every day listed with the things that I had to do in that day. And my schedule only included the things I had to do, right? And working out was on there. So I just sort of tried to incorporate it into this mindset of work is the hard part by essentially saying, well, working out is part of my work. But what I now realize looking back is that this mindset itself is inherently flawed if you want to grow as a person. And what I now realize looking back is that I had already started to change this mindset by intentionally, artificially incorporating working out into what I considered work. Because obviously, despite the fact that I essentially deemed it so, that I decided working out was going to be something I have to do, it obviously wasn't. If we're talking about outside influences, if we're talking about institutions, if we're talking about, biological urges, working out was not something I was being forced to do. It was not something I had to do to survive, right? And it was not something I was mandated to do by anyone. So I was artificially making it what I was supposed to do. The thing about this mindset of work should be hard and then your free time, quote unquote, should be easy, is that you grow through challenge, through harsh conditions, in some capacity. Okay? You need some form of challenge to grow. Because challenge means you will either succeed and you will learn from this success, you will overcome this challenge and thereby grow as a person, or you will fail and be able to learn from your mistakes. So either you have accomplished something and to get there you had to grow, or you have failed at something and that again causes you to grow. But you inherently need the challenge itself to grow. If work is the important part of life, what you must do, and I put all of these words in quotation marks because, well, we're going to get into it in a little bit. But yeah, if you consider work to be the things that you have to do, where there's no way about it, or no way around it, rather. You have to do this thing. This thing matters. This thing must be done. And maybe the results matter as well, right? Maybe it's important that you work effectively or efficiently. If work is the important part of life, it shouldn't be the hard part. If work is the thing that matters, you should not consider it the hard part. It should not be harder than what doesn't matter. Free time should be hard, so that work, what you must do, and where the results often matter, feels easy. Now, the title of this video is Walk, and you might have thought up to this point, what does any of this have to do with walking? Like, what the hell am I talking about here? The reason why this video is called Walk is because I walk almost everywhere. There are some exceptions, if I have no time, if I'm on a tight schedule, obviously I will take public transport somewhere. Also, if, a route takes me through the city, through downtown areas where there's no nature, I'm walking on a stone sidewalk the entire time, which is bad for the joints. And more importantly, it's very loud and there's traffic, a lot of traffic downtown. So I have to pay attention to where I'm going. I have to pay attention to traffic so I don't get run over by a car. And because it's so loud, it's also additionally hard to focus on something like a podcast or an audiobook. Because what I usually do when I walk for long stretches is I use that time to either listen to something, so spend that time learning, or I use that time to essentially meditate. So I'll be in my own mind, I'll be thinking about stuff, reflecting or meditating, just zenning out. And that's something you can't really do if you're downtown, or it's a lot harder because you have to pay attention to a lot of things. Long story short, there are some instances where I will avoid a walk if just a lot of negative aspects line up, if you will. But generally speaking, I walk almost everywhere. Every chance I get where I know I can make this a proper, a sensible use of my time, I'm not wasting my time completely by walking, I will walk. Would it be easier to ride a bike? or even take public transport everywhere? Yes, absolutely. If I wanted to, I live about, one stop away from the supermarket where I buy my groceries. I could, if I wanted to, take the bus for that one stop every time I go shopping, which I don't do because it takes me like 5 to maybe at the very most 10 minutes to get there. More like 5 minutes, really. But I could. It would be easier, certainly. But I don't want it to be easy. I don't want my free time, the time that doesn't matter, to be easy. Because it doesn't matter. I'm not losing anything by making this time hard. Because if I can make it hard, why shouldn't I? If I don't have the energy to make it hard, I can still not do it. I have the option to, it doesn't matter. If I realize along the way, this is really annoying right now. Say I'm walking somewhere for like an hour and a half. I can still, take public transport at some point along the way. I can still make things easier for myself. But the thing is, comfort breeds weakness. Because comfort becomes a habit, habits plural, that are harder and harder to break. I used to be shocked. Now I'm just disgusted, or rather annoyed by people who complain about a half-hour walk. People who are my age. I'm in my early 20s. I know a lot of people in their early 20s, mid 20s. I even knew people like this when I was in school. These were teenagers, okay? Like young people who would complain, who would act like a half-hour walk is the worst thing in the world, which is insane. People present the fact that they had to walk somewhere for an hour as some big thing, like the biggest inconvenience in the world. They had to walk for an hour. That's crazy nowadays. People consider that to be like a big thing. That's insane. Walking for an hour is nothing. Especially nowadays with podcasts and audiobooks, where you can spend that entire hour being productive in the sense that you can learn something. Okay? You can essentially use that time to read a book or listen to a conversation between two scientists who are pioneers in their field about whatever interests you or whatever field you might even be working in yourself. And people act like it's a big thing to do that for an hour. Like, what? This is so bizarre to me. People will go jog or walk on a treadmill, then sit on the couch at home and watch TV. But then when they have to walk in real life, they will act like it's, like they are in hell. Working out should not be an activity. It should be a mentality. You should not think of working out as, I'm going to go to the gym for an hour, and then after that, I am done working out. Your free time should be working out. And it doesn't have to be physical every time. This goes for lots of other things as well. Okay, you can challenge yourself on a mental level. You can challenge yourself to lots of different kinds of things. But we're talking about working out right now, specifically in a physical capacity. So let me be very clear. I know people my age who always take the elevator. If there's an elevator, they take it. Right? Actually, I think this is most people I am aware of. This is not the majority of people who are my close friends, but it is the majority of people I generally know and the majority of people I witness, am aware of overall throughout my day-to-day life. Elevators are for moving furniture or for people in wheelchairs. Okay? If there's an elevator or an escalator, people generally will take it. I do the reverse. If there's a possibility to not take the elevator or the escalator, I take that. If there are stairs, I'm taking those stairs. And in many cases, even when I'm, traveling somewhere and I have some heavy baggage, like a heavy backpack on, I'll still take the stairs. I'll be like, let's take these stairs. This is going to be fun. It's going to be tough with this heavy backpack. I embrace the challenge. I'm looking forward to walking those stairs. Don't know how loud this is, but people downstairs are renovating. I hope the sound is fine. We'll see. You know who takes the elevator? Old people. Because they can't take the stairs. And you want to know why they can't take the stairs? Because they've been riding the elevator for so long, they got too unfit to take the stairs. This might sound mean, but in most cases it is the truth. Old people who stay in shape, who never stop working out, who walk the stairs, they can still walk the stairs. Of course, there are some old people who have had like a knee injury that is very severe, and walking the stairs is very hard for them, or even painful, or actually, problematic for their health. But generally speaking, if you stay active, even into, old age, you will still be capable of walking the stairs. The overwhelming majority of old people can't take the stairs because they've been riding the elevator for so long that they actually can't take the stairs anymore. They actually can't take the stairs because they didn't used to take the stairs. I do my grocery shopping by hand. I don't ride a bike. I don't take the bus. I just take a bag and go shopping. And I walk all the way there and I walk all the way back. And I don't carry the groceries over my shoulder. I don't use a backpack. I don't put the bag over my shoulder. I hold the bag in my hand. I carry all of that shit with one hand. And obviously, switch sides during the way back. Sometimes I will only use specific fingers to hold the bag. Two fingers, 3 fingers. I'm making it harder on purpose. Because the harder I make these everyday things when I have the energy, the easier everything is when I don't. If I have the energy, why should I make it easy? Why should I be comfortable if I don't need to be? Instead of training myself to be hardcore, training myself to be strong in all of these different capacities, and I'm not just talking about literal strength, I'm talking about capability, the ability to do, to act, to do things in general. Why should I not train myself to be as capable as possible so that when I don't have a lot of energy, when I'm actually down in the dumps, things are as easy as possible, right? Because I've been training the rest of the time, so now I'm like super fit. And again, this doesn't just go for physical aspects, this goes for mental things, this goes for your ability to do certain activities, specific skills. This can go for almost anything. And this really goes for small and large scale things. When I'm working very hard on something for a couple of days, a specific project, say, I need to get it done. There's a time crunch. I have a specific finish date, or, I just want to get this done in a specific amount of time. I let myself go a little bit. I order food. I drink caffeinated soda if I feel like it. I do what makes me feel comfy while working. The reason why I can afford to do this is because I train hard and eat clean when the workload is more normal, spread out. And so when things get intense, when I actually have to perform in a limited amount of time, I can let myself go. I can make it comfy. I can make it as easy as possible so I have all the mental capacity in the world to just focus on the work. There's nothing stressing me out. And it feels even easier than it would if I was just doing this because of all the training I have done beforehand. So the way to maintain and improve your fitness in all aspects of life is to enjoy challenge. To acknowledge, I don't have to do this. I can quit anytime. This does not matter. And then to do it anyways. Again, the hard part should not be what you have to do. The hard part should be what you are choosing to do. Whether you are walking somewhere, whether you are carrying something heavy with one hand on purpose, or even with a few fingers, or doing something else that is challenging. It's actually a really good feeling to know in your heart, in your mind, for yourself, it doesn't have to be this hard. I'm not being forced to do this. I am choosing to make it this hard. And if I'm really, really exhausted, if there's no way I can do this anymore, there's still an easier option. Love the challenge. Love the fact that you are choosing to make it hard. That it could be easy if you wanted to, and that your will is creating the obstacle. Instead of, someone forcing you to do this. You are not being forced to do this hard thing. You are not being treated like a slave. You are not being worked hard by someone or something, some institution, some external person. You yourself are choosing to challenge yourself. And if there's really no way you can do it anymore, you can just stop. Because you are choosing to do it. And that is incredibly free and makes it really enjoyable. The challenge is like a game. You are challenging yourself for fun, just for the sake of it. Just for the sheer joy of it. Not because someone is forcing you to do it. Not because you have to do this incredibly hard thing, because you want to. Then, when you actually have to do something, you have to do it. You must do it. And it really matters. Your performance is important. Make it as comfortable as possible. And it'll feel so easy compared to your free time. If you make your free time hard and your work time easy, you will perform better on the things that matter because working feels easier. And because you're actually growing and improving outside of it, so you're actually becoming more capable, meaning it doesn't just feel easier, it actually is easier because you're a more competent person. And overall, this means you will just achieve more in general. You are growing outside of your work and you are performing better inside of your work, on your work. So overall, it's just a net benefit. You know, I'm not saying never relax, but if you're going to relax, actually truly relax. Playing a video game, in most cases, is not true relaxation. Now, you might say, well, playing video games is relaxing for me. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is video games are a dopamine-driven activity. At the end of the day, generally speaking, in a video game, you are challenging yourself to do something. You know, complete some puzzle or beat a boss or beat another player at something. So even though it's a very comfortable, a very easy challenge, you are still challenging yourself. This is not deep relaxation. And so you could be doing something else instead, either truly relaxing or challenging yourself in a meaningful way. At the end of the day, not every single moment in your life has to be either hard or, work time. But if you take anything from this video, maybe the next time you're heading somewhere and it's not that far away, don't take the bus. Just walk. Now, originally I wanted to make a video on walking specifically, just, a short chat, talk about why I walk so much, why I walk almost everywhere, which would have been a very quick video, but I realized as I was writing the notes for that video that it is a much bigger issue than I initially realized, and it's a much bigger part of my fundamental mentality, if you will, regarding life. So I decided instead to make this video, which incorporated what I talked about in regards to walking a little bit, but is a more general look at the mentality regarding working out and work versus free time. If you enjoyed yourself, if you found this video helpful, interesting, if you gained knowledge, insight, go ahead and leave a like. I would appreciate that a lot. And if you feel like this video could be of value to any of your friends, family members, etc., go ahead and share. If you've got any questions regarding anything I talked about in this video, regarding the general concept, regarding specifics, or if you have a suggestion for something you want me to talk about in the future, or you're curious about my opinion on something specific regarding working out, like, these kinds of videos, or general health / practical philosophy, which are the other two main topics I kind of talk about, go ahead and leave a comment. Can be a suggestion for something else as well. I think most things can be looked at from the lens of one of these three topics. So I'd be happy to look at any suggestions you might leave. And if you want to join me on the journey of, making more of these talks, kind of speaking about my experience and the knowledge I've gained through research on these various topics, and you kind of want to see where this channel goes as well, go ahead and subscribe. And if you do subscribe, be sure to activate the notification bell if you don't want to miss out on any of my talks. I hope the sawing wasn't too much of a bother. I'm not sure if these guys downstairs have opened up a sawmill or something, because they've been sawing for an hour straight. But yeah, I hope the sound was somewhat okay, decent enough. That being said, I hope I'll see you in the next one. And until then, if you have the option, to not take the elevator, not take the escalator, not take the bus, maybe just once in a while, remember to just walk.